There's a voice inside you right now, a whisper that sounds like reason, like logic, like caution. But it's not guiding you, it's trapping you. That voice isn't keeping you safe, it's keeping you small. And worse, it's not even yours. This inner voice, the one that tells you to doubt, to delay, to fear, is a script written long before you ever realized you were following it. It's not just sabotaging your choices, it's shaping your emotions, your beliefs, your identity. And the terrifying truth, if you don't recognize it for what it is, you may never hear your true self again. But what comes next? This isn't inspiration. This isn't hype. It's a lifeline, a decoded signal from the part of you that remembers everything. The real you, the one before the programming, the one beneath the noise, the you who came here with power beyond comprehension, but who was taught to forget. Because right now, you're living inside a suit of flesh, with a name you didn't choose and a role you didn't write. But you, the real you, aren't the suit. You're the driver, the awareness, the observer. Science calls it the observer effect. The ancients called it the divine spark. The mystics called it the I am. And now, even quantum physics is catching up. Reality bends, shifts, and rewrites itself based on who's watching. Translation: you're not trapped in this simulation. You're co-creating it. But, and here's the catch, if you forget who you are, the simulation runs you. If you remember, you begin to rewrite it. Your lower self, that programmed identity, rooted in fear, addiction, and approval chasing, cannot survive your awakening. It clings to comfort and routine, because if you truly remembered what you are, it would dissolve. It lives through your forgetfulness. It feeds off the loop of survival, distraction, and self-doubt. That's why it's terrified of your awakening. You are not the name they gave you. You are not your job, your trauma, your personality. You are the still, silent awareness beneath it all. The one that's been watching, unchanging, since your first breath. You've worn masks, you've played roles, but behind all of it, that pure presence never changed. And that, right there, that's the true you. Eternal, untouchable, the only real constant in your life. That's why mystics through the ages whispered, "Know thyself, and you will know the divine." Because when you finally meet your true self, not the construct, not the survival persona, you remember something that changes everything. You were never separate. You were never powerless. You were always it. Here's where things shift. The moment you can step back and observe your thoughts, not get tangled in them, not fight them, just witness. You unplug from the matrix. You exit the illusion. You stop being a pawn on the board, and you become the one moving the pieces. This is ancient wisdom. This is sacred truth. The mystics knew it. The Gnostics guarded it. The Hermeticists encoded it in symbols. The truth was never about worshiping a god in the sky. It was always about waking up to the God within. You are not here to be a believer. You're here to be a creator. But the system, the world around you, has a vested interest in your amnesia. Entire industries depend on it. Think about it. If you knew you were divine, would you need validation? Would you chase material distractions? Would you obey? Number you'd create. You'd live with power. You'd make new systems. That's why the lower self is constantly being fed. It's not just an accident. It's by design. You were born into a world rigged to keep your energy trapped in survival mode. Think about it. Fast food hijacks your base instincts. Social media manipulates your emotions. The news sells fear. These aren't random irritants. They're carefully engineered to keep your energy stuck in the lower parts of your system, so you never rise. Because once you rise, once your energy flows upward, You become uncontrollable, unstoppable, unprogrammable. And let's make one thing clear. Your lower self isn't evil. It's ancient. It was built for one thing: to survive. That's it. Eat, avoid danger, reproduce. That's the old code, the reptilian software, the base-level hardware of human existence. But we're not here to survive anymore. We're here to evolve, to awaken, to ascend. The lower self was meant to be a servant, a foundation, not the master of your life. But right now, for most people, it's driving the car. And the road it takes you on? It leads to comfort, repetition, and eventually regret. The ancients knew this. The Sufis, the yogis, the mystery schools, they all spoke of this inner beast, the untamed lower self that, when left unchecked, keeps you looping in cycles of fear and craving. It's not just metaphor, it's biology. Let's break it down. Your brain is layered. At the base is the brain stem, the survival brain. Fast, reactive, impulsive. Then comes the limbic system, your emotional brain. Then at the top, your neocortex, imagination, logic, creativity. Guess where society keeps your focus? At the bottom, trapped in fear, triggered, addicted to stimulation. You can't dream when you're in fight or flight. You can't innovate when you're in survival mode. Your genius, your real power, lives higher. But your energy is being siphoned before it ever gets there. And here's the key. Energy is everything. Wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. And energy, it's your spiritual currency. Spend it on anxiety, lust, or comparison. That's the world you build. But pull it back, aim it with intention, and now you're sculpting your reality from the inside out. You're not stuck in a cage. You built it. Now you can unbuild it. Your body isn't just flesh and bone. It's a sacred ladder. And the rungs of that ladder? They've been known for thousands of years, encoded as chakras, seals, energy centers. They're not woo-woo. They're your inner operating system. The first three centers are about survival, sensation, and power. And if your energy stays stuck there, you stay in loops, fear, craving, competition. But the moment your energy rises, you awaken the higher centers, the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. This is where real power begins. Creative power, visionary power, divine connection. It starts by noticing the switch, the exact moment when your peaceful mind is hijacked. One moment you're calm, the next, you're triggered. You just met your lower self. Don't hate it. Just see it. Name it. And in that moment, you create space. And in space lies power. This is your first tool. Conscious interruption. Interrupt the loop. Breathe, move, speak a new truth. That's how you break the trance. Because that's all the lower self is. A hypnotic suggestion playing on repeat. It says, you're tired. You're not ready. You'll always be this way. But look at your life. You've survived every fear it whispered. You're still here, still breathing, still rising. So now it's your turn. Your throne is waiting. And the lower self, it was never meant to sit on it. You don't need to kill the lower self. You need to master it. Train it to serve your vision. Let it anchor you, not drive you. When the lower self bows to the higher self, everything changes. That's when you enter God mode. The truth is, your mind isn't neutral. It's a command center. It's constantly shaping your reality, with or without your permission. If you don't program it, someone else already has. That's not a theory. That's psychological fact. From the moment you were born, your mind has been under siege. Cartoons, classrooms, culture. They didn't just teach you facts. They taught you limits. They trained you how to think, what's possible, and who you're allowed to be. Every belief you have was once someone else's voice, until it became your own. But that's just the surface. Your conscious mind only handles about 5% of your daily function. The other 95%? That's your subconscious, the real architect of your life. And if you don't dig into it, you're just living someone else's dream. Or worse, their nightmare. Most people are walking through life like ghosts in their own story, haunted by programs they didn't write, reacting to triggers they don't understand, calling it fate, when it's really just unexamined belief. You're not cursed. You're not broken. You're just operating from software that was installed in you without your consent. And that software runs deep, deeper than memory, deeper than logic. It hides in your nervous system, in your habits, in the way your body flinches before your brain even knows why. But here's the good news. Anything that's been programmed can be reprogrammed. Your mind isn't your enemy. It's your interface, a sacred bridge between your higher consciousness and this physical reality. Think of it like a lens. If that lens is clouded with fear, trauma, guilt, and false stories, everything you see will be distorted. Life will appear hostile. You'll expect failure. You'll attract confusion. But clean the lens, align the filter. Suddenly, everything changes. You start to see possibilities where you once saw problems. You see purpose in the pain. You don't just believe in miracles. You start expecting them. That's why the system wants your mind busy, overwhelmed, overstimulated. Headlines, scandals, TikToks, notifications. It's not information, it's noise. And the more noise they feed you, the less space you have to hear the only voice that truly matters, the one that comes from within. This is psychic warfare, and your attention is the battlefield. So, how do you win? You take back the control panel. Step 1. Become the witness. Every thought you observe without reacting to it, you reclaim your power. You shift from victim to architect, from puppet to programmer. You stop being the thought and become the one watching it. Step 2. Identify the origin of the thought. Ask, whose voice is this really? That insecurity about your body, did it come from an ad you saw at age 12? That belief that you'll never make money, was it handed to you by parents who were just surviving? That fear of speaking up, is it your fear or your old teacher's shaming echo still stuck in your bones? You can't rewrite a belief you haven't exposed. Awareness precedes transformation. Step 3. Rewrite the program. This isn't just positive thinking. This is neuroplasticity. Every time you speak a new truth into your mind and feel it, you're building a new neural pathway. At first, it's fragile, a dirt road, but with repetition and feeling, it becomes a freeway, a new default, a new identity. That's how timelines collapse. You stop acting like the character, and you start writing the script. Want proof? Look at the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's shown that when people shift their internal state, mentally, emotionally, energetically, the external world literally reconfigures to match it. It's not magic, it's mechanics. Thoughts are electrical, emotions are magnetic. Combine the two with clarity. That's manifestation, that's creation, that's alchemy, and your mind is the lab. But don't expect your lower self to give up without a fight. It will resist, it will scream, it will say, "This is pointless, it's too late, you've always been this way." It will mock your growth just to stay in control. But the louder the resistance, the closer you are to the shift. So here's a challenge. Tonight, before bed, don't reach for your phone. Don't scroll. Just sit, breathe, and listen. You'll hear it. The voice of the old program, the fears, the doubts, the stories. the same noise that's been keeping you in place. Don't argue with it. Don't suppress it. Just witness it, and then speak a new truth back to it. I am not this fear. I am the one observing it. I am not this doubt. I am the space it moves through. I am not this program. I am the author of a new code. Say it, feel it, say it again, and watch. Over time, the old voice gets quieter. The static fades, and something else begins to emerge from the silence. Your true self, the real you. The you that never needed fixing, only remembering. And now that you're listening, let's talk about your body. Because what you've been told about it, it's a lie. It's not just skin and muscle. It's not just a lump of cells randomly evolved. It's a temple, a transmitter, a sacred technology designed to hold the frequency of your soul. It's your access point to godhood. Not in metaphor, in mechanics. Every ancient culture knew this. The yogis, the Taoists, the Egyptians, the mystics. They mapped out your energy system like a divine circuit board. 7 centers, 7 seals, 7 gates that unlock different levels of consciousness. Today, most people don't even know they exist. They think they're tired because they didn't sleep, depressed because of their job, lost because of their circumstances. But the truth is, their energy is out of sync. Their life force is leaking. Their system is overloaded and undercharged. You're not broken. You're unplugged. Let's walk through these ancient gates. The root, your foundation, safety, stability, grounding. When blocked, you feel anxious, unstable, disconnected. This is why trauma lives in the hips. It's your body screaming for security. The sacral, your flow, creativity, pleasure, emotion. But overstimulation, porn, scrolling, drama, numbs it. You leak your energy into distractions and wonder why you feel empty. The solar plexus, your fire, willpower, purpose, confidence. But years of people-pleasing and self-doubt dim this fire. You stop choosing and start reacting. You forget your power. These first 3 are the lower self's playground. Most people never rise above them. They live in endless loops of survival, sensation, and ego. But when you start to rise, the heart, the bridge. This is love beyond romance, compassion, unity, forgiveness, the portal between earth and spirit. This is where true healing begins. It's not soft. It's the fiercest strength there is. The throat, your truth, expression, voice, creation through sound. Words shape worlds. And when you find your real voice, your reality begins to respond. The third eye, inner vision, intuition, perception, beyond logic. This isn't woo. Your pineal gland is real. It has light receptors. It produces DMT. It's your inner technology for decoding the unseen. The crown, divine connection. Ego dissolves, presence awakens. You remember, not just with your mind but with your being, that you are source in form. The drop and the ocean at once. And here's the wild part. When your energy flows through all 7 centers without block, your body becomes a sacred antenna. You don't chase insights, they land. You don't beg for love, you embody it. You don't force miracles. You become the frequency that makes them inevitable. This is what ancient mystics meant by awakening the serpent, the dormant energy rising through your spine, igniting your system, unlocking your divine DNA. But knowing this isn't enough. You must feel it, use it, embody it. That's why I gave you the 7-minute ritual. 1 minute per gate. A daily reboot for your entire system. Not just to survive, to thrive, to lead, to create. Because you are not here to be a seeker forever. You are here to become the signal. You feel it, don't you? That deeper truth, that inner flame? Good. Because we're just getting started. Let's talk about energy. Not as a concept, as your most precious resource. Every single day, you're either burning it or building it. Every thought, every action, every breath is a transaction. And most people are going bankrupt without even knowing it. You feel drained? It's not because of how much you did. It's how much you leaked. Overstimulation, compulsive scrolling, emotional reactivity. These are not harmless habits. They're energetic hemorrhages. Ancient traditions called this sacred energy Jing, Ojas, Ka. Modern science calls it bioelectrical potential. Same principle. Your body is a battery, and the world is constantly trying to drain it. But here's the game changer. When you learn to retain and direct your energy, everything changes. You stop burning out and start lighting up. Your mind gets sharper. Your body gets stronger. Your creativity explodes. Your intuition becomes undeniable. That's energy transmutation. That's the hidden key behind every genius, every master, every miracle worker. They didn't have more time. They had more energy, and they knew how to use it. It's not about repression. It's about direction. Every impulse you feel, that restlessness, that hunger, that craving, is raw power. You can waste it on distractions, or you can channel it into creation, into movement, into purpose. That's the ancient secret. They fasted, meditated, moved, not to suffer, but to refine, to build inner voltage, to ignite the sacred oil within the spine, the Christos, the anointing that rises when preserved. And when it rises, when it reaches the brain, you unlock genius, alignment, activation. Not someday, not in theory, in chemistry, in experience. This is your inheritance, and it's yours to reclaim. So here's your reminder. You're not tired. You're leaking. You're not lost. You're misaligned. You're not broken. You're uncharged. And starting today, you begin to remember what it feels like to be full of energy, of clarity, of purpose. Not from the world, from within. Let's shift gears and go deeper. Your energy is rising. Your awareness is sharpening. You're starting to see what's really going on behind the scenes of your own life. You're no longer sleepwalking. You're waking up. And with that awakening comes a responsibility to stop reacting and start creating. Now let's talk about something most people completely misunderstand. Your emotions. They're not weaknesses. They're not glitches in your operating system. They're not inconvenient bursts of chaos to hide or apologize for. Emotions are energy in motion, emotion. They are the body's language. How your inner world communicates before the mind even catches up. They are signals, not sentences. Feedback, not fate. But here's what happens when you don't understand this. You get trapped. You feel sadness and call yourself broken. You feel anger and believe you're out of control. You feel fear and label it as weakness. And in doing so, you identify with the feeling rather than witnessing it. This is how your lower self takes the wheel again. It doesn't just speak through thoughts. It hijacks your emotions. It turns a passing shadow into a storm. It turns old wounds into fresh pain. Not because they're real, but because they're unresolved. You ever wonder why the same triggers come back again and again, wearing different faces, showing up in new people, new jobs, new situations? That's not a coincidence. That's your system replaying loops, waiting for you to finally notice and break the pattern. Your emotions are not here to punish you. They're here to liberate you, if you know how to listen. Now here's a hard truth. What you feel most often is what you attract. Not because the universe is playing games with you, but because your nervous system is a magnet. and it's always seeking what's familiar. If your familiar state is anxiety, that's what you recreate. If your norm is guilt, you'll find ways to confirm it. If you live in the vibration of fear, the world you see will reflect it right back. This is why people repeat the same painful relationships, the same emotional spirals, the same patterns, different costumes. Not because they're broken, because they haven't changed their emotional baseline. But here's where it flips. Your emotions don't have to be automatic. They can be intentional. You can choose how you feel, not by faking it, not by pretending, but by generating elevated emotions deliberately. Just like you train your muscles, you can train your emotional field. And when you do, everything changes. Step 1. Feel to free. You can't heal what you won't feel. When an emotion rises, don't judge it. Don't label it as good or bad. Just feel it fully. Sit in it. Breathe through it. Let it pass through like a wave. Science says an emotion, if not fed by thought, lasts about 90 seconds. That's it, a minute and a half. You can handle that. But what keeps it alive for hours, days, years even? The story you attach to it, the meaning you give it, the identity you wrap around it. Step 2. Name it to tame it. This is neuroscience backed. When you name an emotion, I feel fear, I feel shame, I feel grief, you engage the rational part of the brain. You calm the storm. You take the driver's seat again. You're not angry. You're experiencing anger. See the difference? Step 3. Use the emotion. Ask, why is this here? What is this showing me? Because all emotion is intel, insight, direction. Anger points to boundaries violated. Sadness points to something you valued. Anxiety reveals where your trust is lacking. Emotions are teachers. Learn from them, and they become power. But don't stop there. Once you learn to work with your emotional waves, you can begin to engineer them. Want to shift your future? Start generating elevated emotions now. Not when the goal is reached, not when the thing arrives. Right now. Gratitude, peace, courage, joy. These are high-frequency signals. They tell your nervous system, this is our new normal. And when your body believes it's already true, the mind follows. Then the reality follows. That's how you collapse the delay between desire and manifestation. It's not just about thinking differently. It's about feeling differently. Before there's any proof. That's what separates those who hope from those who create. They generate their frequency before the outcome. So here's your new morning ritual. Choose a feeling. One elevated emotion you want to embody. Love, clarity, power, peace. Then spend 3 minutes feeling it, breathing it, filling your body with it. No reason, no trigger, just because you decide to. You do that daily and watch how your world begins to shift. Watch how people treat you. Watch how opportunities line up. Watch how the impossible starts to look inevitable. This is emotional mastery. This is emotional alchemy. And it's your superpower. Now let's go even further, into the realm of your higher self. This isn't some distant version of you in the future. It's not some perfected spiritual being floating on a mountaintop. It's you, right now, stripped of fear, filters, and programming. But here's the trick your lower self loves. It tells you the higher self is something to become, something far away. One day, when you've healed enough, earned enough, fixed enough, then you'll get there. That's the trap. It keeps you chasing, seeking, striving. But the truth, your higher self isn't something you achieve. It's something you remember, something you allow. It's already present. You've felt it in those moments of total clarity, sudden peace, deep knowing. when you made the right move without thinking, when time disappeared, when creativity flowed like a river. That was it. That was you, unfiltered. Your job now? Make that your default. So how? Step 1. Create the identity. Get specific. Who is your higher self? What do they believe? How do they move? How do they speak? What do they say no to? What do they allow? What's their posture, their energy, their presence? Write it down. This is not fantasy. This is blueprinting, identity engineering. Step 2. Take action from that place. Don't wait to feel ready. Readiness is a lie. Choose one action, small or bold, that aligns with that higher self. A new boundary, a new habit, a new way of speaking. Every time you act from that place, you cast a vote for that version of you. You make it more real. You wire it into your nervous system. Step 3. Train the nervous system. The only reason you don't live from your higher self 24/7 is because your nervous system is still calibrated to fear, not faith, comfort, not creation. So when discomfort rises, when resistance hits, don't run. Don't numb. Pause. Breathe. Ask, what would my higher self choose right now? Then do that. Even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble. That's where the real transformation happens. In action, not affirmation. And here's the wild metaphysical truth. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. That means your reality doesn't reflect your goals. It mirrors your identity, your dominant energy, your consistent frequency. If you walk like the version of you who already has the life, the mission, the impact, that energy becomes a magnet. Life begins to align. Time bends. People respond. Paths clear. It's not magic. It's resonance. That's what Neville Goddard meant by living in the end. You feel it as if it's already real. Not to trick the universe, but to match it. You stop chasing. You start broadcasting. You stop begging. You start becoming. The higher self doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't explain or seek approval. It moves with quiet power. It knows. And most of all, it listens. It collaborates with a force beyond logic. Call it God, the universe, the field. Doesn't matter. What matters is, it responds. When you align with your higher self, your signal shifts. That signal is your order. That's how you co-create with the divine. Not from desperation, not from need, from knowing. So the question isn't, how do I become my higher self? The real question is, what do I need to let go of so I can remember I already am? Because the higher self isn't future you. It's the original you. The one before the world told you who to be. And now, the illusions are breaking. You're seeing through the mask. The lower self, once so convincing, is losing its grip. The stories don't hit the same. The distractions feel hollow. The chaos doesn't pull you like it used to. Why? Because you're remembering. You're not the thoughts. You're the awareness behind them. You're not the emotions. You're the ocean they move through. You're not the body. You're the presence that animates it. And that remembering? It's a threat to the system. Because the moment you reclaim your energy, your emotions, your identity, you become sovereign. You become free. And a free being can't be controlled, can't be predicted, can't be programmed. You don't just leave the matrix, you rewrite it. Not by escaping the world, but by showing up in it, fully awake. You become the embodied reminder that God doesn't live in the sky. God lives in you. So next time the lower self whispers its usual script, play small, stay safe, maybe later. Just smile. Because now you see it for what it is, a relic, a shadow, an outdated echo of who you used to be. And you've already shifted. You're not becoming, you're returning. You've made it this far for a reason. Something in you, deep and ancient, has been listening, not with your ears, but with your being. It's the part of you that always knew you were more than a name, more than a body, more than the life they handed you. And now, that part of you isn't just listening, it's ready to rise. But before we close this chapter, you need to know what you're truly up against. Because it isn't just some voice in your head. It isn't just self-doubt or procrastination or fear. No. What you're up against is the entire system of illusion you were born into. Not machines, not wires, beliefs. That's the real matrix. Ideas that became rules. Limitations dressed up as logic. Invisible chains disguised as just the way things are. You were never meant to stay inside this illusion. You were meant to wake up inside it. And remember that every voice telling you you can't was programmed by someone who gave up. Every fear that says stay small was handed to you by a system that profits from your forgetfulness. The lower self, your inner saboteur, isn't some evil force. It's just the echo of that system. An outdated software designed to help you survive a world you're no longer bound by. It's the version of you that was shaped by trauma, by scarcity, by repetition. It loops, it clings, it panics. Because when the true you returns, the lower self becomes obsolete. And make no mistake, that's already happening. The illusions are cracking. The distractions don't hit the same. The fake highs don't satisfy. You can feel it, can't you? The emptiness in the things that used to numb you. The hollowness in chasing what you were taught to desire. That's the soul waking up. That's the return. You're not chasing power anymore. You're remembering it. You're not seeking validation. You're reclaiming sovereignty. And the world will try to pull you back into the fog. The algorithm, the ads, the conditioning. They'll whisper, "You're just a person. You need this. You aren't enough yet." But you'll see through it, because now you've tasted the truth. You were never the character in the game. You were the one coding it. And that changes everything. This is what the mystics meant when they said liberation. Not escaping reality, but reclaiming authorship. Rewriting the story, not as a reaction, but as a declaration. The Buddha saw it. Jesus lived it. Every ancient initiate, every sage, every awakened soul, they all came to the same realization. The kingdom of God isn't somewhere out there. It's within you, buried under layers of fear, conditioning, and distraction, but never lost. You don't need to float above life to ascend. You don't need to abandon your body or your goals. Real awakening happens right here, in the ordinary, in your breath, in your choices, in how you walk through the world, aware. True mastery isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about no longer being hijacked by the mind, the mood, the matrix. It's about becoming so anchored in your center that the world can storm around you, and you don't flinch. You feel it all, but you don't get lost in any of it. You observe without identifying. You act without attachment. You create without control. That's the real power. Not loud, not forceful, quiet, magnetic, rooted in truth. And when you reach that space, not as an idea, but as a state, you don't just live differently. You vibrate differently. People feel it. Rooms shift. Timelines bend. Not because you changed the world, but because you changed the signal you send into it. You stopped reacting. You started radiating. You stopped following. You started leading, not others, but your own energy, your own mind, your own emotions. So what now? Now, you become the embodiment. You don't just know the truth. You walk it, speak it, live it. You become a living frequency that reminds others what's possible. Not through preaching, not through pressure, through presence. Every word you speak, from alignment. Every step you take, from awareness. Every thought you entertain, chosen, not inherited. That's the practice now. Alignment in motion. And yes, the lower self will still show up. It doesn't vanish overnight. But now, you don't fight it. You don't fear it. You see it. You smile. You nod. You say, I see you, but I'm not you. And just like that, you stay in power. Because freedom doesn't mean never hearing the old voice again. It means no longer mistaking it for truth. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, you rise. Every time you choose presence over panic, you rise. Every time you choose your highest frequency, no matter how subtle, you rise. That's evolution. That's ascension. Not an escape from life, but a full embodiment of it, rooted in who you truly are. And let's make something crystal clear. You are not here to play small. You are not here to follow the script. You are not here to chase crumbs of happiness inside someone else's system. You came here to build, to design new structures, birth new realities, transmit new frequencies into a world starving for truth. You came here to create like a God. Not a distant, untouchable God, but the God within, the one who creates from love, from vision, from power that needs no crown. And here's the best part. You don't need to wait. You don't need more credentials, more permission, more time. You need clarity, courage, and commitment. Clarity on who you really are. Courage to live from that knowing. Commitment to return to it again and again, even when the world tries to distract you. That's how you become unstoppable. Not through force, through consistency. Every moment is a portal. Every breath is a choice. You're either tuning into the lower self, the old loop, the safe path, or stepping into the higher self, the bold unknown, the divine flow. And the higher self doesn't need proof. It doesn't wait for evidence. It moves first. It knows that reality reshapes around belief, not the other way around. So breathe with me now. Not as a name, not as a role, not as a brand, but as pure awareness. As the presence behind every thought, as the force animating this body, as the eternal witness behind the mask. And as you breathe, remember, your mind is not just a tool, it's a portal. Your body is not just a vessel, it's a temple. Your voice is not just sound, it's spell work. And your energy, it's the blueprint of your entire reality. So start treating it that way. Guard your energy like royalty. Direct your focus like a laser. Speak your words like spells. And move through your days like a creator. Not chasing life, but choosing it. And next time you feel the old world tug at you, the fear, the shame, the programming, pause. Take one conscious breath. Feel the stillness behind the noise. Remember who you are. You're not just in the matrix, you're coding it. You're not just on a journey, you're the map maker. You're not just evolving, you're remembering. And now, the final piece clicks. You were never broken. You were never lost. You were just buried under illusions. And now you've risen through them. Welcome back. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. Now you move differently. Now you breathe like a god in form. Now you walk with purpose, speak with clarity, and create with precision. You don't beg. You broadcast. You don't wait. You awaken. You don't chase. You command. Because you remembered. And now that you've remembered, live like it. Because the world doesn't need more followers. It needs reminders. It needs creators. It needs living examples of what's possible when someone wakes up fully, unapologetically, and walks as truth in a world of illusion. You are that example now. So walk, speak, create, and let every move be a ripple through the matrix. Let every step declare, I am awake. I am the author. I am the light. And nothing will ever be the same.